All right, so this is a very important video. It's been brewing in my head for a while. Today's my birthday and I got yet again another person reaching out to me about this very issue, so I felt super compelled to do this today and get this out today because I'm seeing this as becoming a problem, and I think it's something if you and I can just have a really good heart-to-heart about and maybe think through, could be helpful for people as they are going to their doctor's office and facing this. So what am I talking about? So I'm talking about the GLP-1 medications. A lot of people have reached out to me thus far who've already been on it for 5, 3, 6 months, and then they financially cannot afford it anymore, and they're having to go off said medications. And the GLP-1 medications go by various names. I'm not going to list them all out here, but it's a type 2 diabetic medication that was intended for type 2 diabetics, but also creates weight loss, and it can often be prescribed to people by their doctors for just weight loss. And it is actually very alarming to me that I will have a client who's only 20 or 30 pounds overweight, and they are going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, I got a medication that will help you with that. So I just want to make sure we talk this through. So what I am already hearing, what the fallout is, I'll call it, of this situation is people are seeing weight loss going on these medications, but the cost of the medications is extremely high, $900 to over $1,000 a month, depending on which one it is you are on. The problem with that is when you think about my message and what it is I'm promoting here, it's about losing weight with a maintenance mindset. It's about really thinking through, how am I going to keep this weight off for the rest of my life? It's thinking about yourself in your 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond. And what that means is that you would need to be committing to being on this medication for the rest of your life. I was super curious. When I found out about all this, I was super curious to dive into, I was excited, I'm going to dive into all the research that shows that when somebody comes off this medication, they're able to keep the weight off. Guess what I didn't find? That. I did not find that. I found many articles, many reports about doctors saying if somebody comes off this medication, they probably will regain part or all of the weight back. And so my feeling is if we're going to be spending this kind of money and getting people all excited about this amount of weight loss, should we not be talking about the after effect? What's going to happen when you lose your job? What's going to happen when the medication becomes so scarce because it's in high demand and you can't get it? What's going to happen, like this poor woman who just reached out to me today and her insurance declined covering it anymore for her. And now she feels hopeless and now she thinks she can't do it, even though she's done it before. Think about that. So I see it like this. If this is not something, like you can't see yourself at 60, 70, 80 years of age paying for this medication, you might want to retire one day, that kind of thing. I question how helpful this medication is. Now, I want to caveat everything I just said with, if you are a type 2 diabetic, it's on your medical record, your doctor gave you this medication because it's going to help you because you're a type 2 diabetic, you're not who I am speaking to. Keep doing what your doctor said. Medication was intended for you. Enjoy. But I'm talking about when this became available. I had multiple coaching clients reach out to me and say, hey, and these are people who are not technically even obese. Yes, they have some weight they want to lose, but they are not obese. And their doctors were suggesting to them to take this medication. I have now had a community member do it for 5 months. She lost weight. She regained it when she came off. I have several people who have reached out to me very concerned because they can't financially afford it. They're having to come off of it. Their weight is starting to go back up. Their hunger is starting to come back in. I'm just trying to have a really honest conversation about the longevity of this situation. If you're type 2 diabetic and you're going to be, or you're diabetic in general and you're going to be on a medication like that anyway, again, you're not who I'm talking to. I'm talking about the woman or the man who wants to lose weight and they think this is a viable option. What I am seeing is if you do not work on habits, knowing your calorie needs, doing all these things, and your hunger is suppressed, you have, basically a different response to food while on this medication, but then you come off and you have not got any of those habits anyway, you're gonna struggle. So why not just jump the gun, do the habits first, work on changing your lifestyle, and then see where you get with that? Because we all use food for things that are not because we're hungry. You use it for emotional relief, you use it for entertainment, you use it for all these different things, right? That's not because you're physically hungry. So when your hunger is suppressed, it's easier to manage all that. But then when your hunger comes back, all your old habits are going to come back. So it's an extremely expensive medication that has other host of side effects, which I think is important to mention that too, that will help create results in the here and now. But my guess is if you're investing thousands of dollars in losing this weight over the course of months, you probably like to keep it off. So if you can't continue to invest in this medication and you come off said medication and you regain the weight because the hunger comes back, and that's the other interesting thing, we don't even understand all that. Like, how does somebody's hunger respond differently post this medication? I read an article from a woman who said she felt her hunger had really increased since coming off the medication, more so than it was before. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like, maybe we start to question a little bit, like, there's this great medication, super expensive. Who's benefiting from that? Number one. Number two, it's being given to not just extremely obese people as a solution, but people who have 20 pounds to lose, 15 pounds they want to lose. And I'm seeing this. This is like what I am seeing on my end. And then I'm seeing the fallout from the people who go on it for a short period of time, see some results, but financially can't afford to stay on it. And then they feel this sense of hopelessness, helplessness. They don't know what they're gonna do because they haven't learned those skills and habits. So I just really, 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 from my heart, want to talk to you about this because it sounds like a good idea on the front end. But when you look at it later on down the line, 10 years down the line, you've been investing $1,000 a month for this medication. Is that really sustainable for you long term? And if you have more people in your house that might be on that medication, they're all paying for it too. I actually know a woman who said, maybe my husband's going to do it. That's a lot of money to keep up with for the rest of your lives. Just want to throw it out there. And again, this is not for those people who it's medically necessary. I'm talking about those people who are using it strictly for weight loss purposes. I'm just going to challenge you to think it through. I'm going to challenge you to look at your money that you got coming in. Ask yourself, what would be the game plan if you lost your job, something happened, and this may not be a popular opinion. I mean, I don't really care if it is. I'm concerned about you. I want to have this honest conversation because things can sound really great from the outset. But when I am already seeing, and we're only in the month of January, when I'm already seeing the fallout of people who can't stay on this medication but 3 or 5 months, and what's going on for them, it concerns me. It really does. And that's why I want to have this conversation. I felt like, I can't not create a video and talk about this, because if I could help just one person think through where this could go, that maybe this would be a helpful discussion to have. So I hope this helps. And again, you make your own decisions, obviously. But really just think it through. Is this something I'm going to be able to keep up with for the rest of my life? Do I have all my habits in check? Have I been journaling my food? Do I really have everything down before I take this huge financial commitment and leap into something that I don't know how it's going to play out long term? All right, guys, I hope this helps. I just wanted to have this really honest conversation with you. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.